And the key areas were briefly looked into in the meeting, and we are supposed to continue today after an inspection of the facilities. The second prong of our visit is to determine how the games can be held in a safe manner, given the situation of the pandemic. And that was partially the inspections we did yesterday. We also took notes. The specialists among us took critical notes of the areas to look at. So these two things is why we are here. And yesterday what we saw, we are very glad. The extent of the preparedness of the state government on the facilities was very evident. We were at the Obaseki Stadium. We were at the games facility off Wire Road. We visited our own facility off Sapele Road, which the state government is also assisting to get ready, almost ready. So on the whole, in terms of facilities for the game, the outstanding area is the accommodation for the athletes. And yesterday we met with the Vice Chancellor of the Uniben with our team before we proceeded to inspect the facilities for the games. And it is now evident that the school is reopening. And some students are even already there. And the VC was, of course, was concerned if we are going to still ask for vacation for the games to hold. But we know that we have earlier discussed with His Excellency the Deputy Governor, and he assured us that the state is making alternative arrangements. So that is one of the areas we will have to further look into today to see what arrangement is in place. Also, His Excellency the Deputy Governor raised the issue of the efforts, the funding, and others that the state government has put into these games since last year. Is clear because it's even for our own budget as a ministry. We have made the expenses before the game was postponed for the first time. So those expenses, nobody can count. I think the game was postponed just 5 days before commencement. That means a lot of expenses has been done. So in my discussion with Deputy Governor yesterday, these are another area we will look at, the funding for the games, because in the last meeting of MOC with the LOC, it was a Zoom meeting held on Friday last week. The Deputy Governor participated. We gave ourselves timelines, since we basically have like 2 weeks left. So the timeline was that by Wednesday, that's tomorrow, we should come out definitive on some of these key questions. And along that line, yesterday I requested His Excellency to avail me of the request the state government has earlier made so that we'll commence action on it. And we even spoke this morning after my online meeting with the Honorable Minister, and I've communicated with Deputy Governor. If we can get it, we'll quickly act on it. Even while I'm here, we'll start work on it immediately. But overall, the consensus among the team is that yes, the pandemic is there's a resurgent new strain and so on. Yes, the National Sports Festival is like it's a very important game. Our own, so you can liken it to our own Olympics, after which our athletes move on to the main Olympics in Japan, which was also postponed. Japan 2020 is still called. And the feelers from the International Olympic Committee is that in fact the chairman, the president of Nigerian Olympic Commission have been here, but he has to go for a meeting of the International Olympic Committee. And they've looked at this, the government of Japan and also the Olympic Committee. They are going ahead to plan for the Olympics in July, despite the much more ravaging aspects of the pandemic in Japan. So so why are they going ahead? Like for us in Nigeria, the government wants to open up the economy. The pandemic has to be, the protocols has to be observed very strictly in a safe manner. And weighing the two sides, and our youth and Nigerian people have to be kept fruitfully engaged, and we have to participate in world events. And sports is one of the key areas of doing all this. So the consensus is that, yes, the game can go on with along the safe protocols to make sure that our athletes doesn't contact the game is conducted in a safe manner. And that's why we are very stringent now to look at all aspects, all modalities of the planning, so that the PTF, NCDC will develop proper protocols that everybody can live with. After that, the second leg is the area of funding for facilities, sporting facilities, and so on. I think we are largely okay with that. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Edo State, the Secretary to the Government, Solicitor General. I want to welcome members of the facilities. We have athletes in camp and we are still on the mindset that we would like to host. However, we have to balance things. I think COVID, the whole COVID phenomenon, this calls for us to take a new look at the way, as human beings, as humanity, how we exist and how we interrelate and how we balance issues. So it's a balance between life and livelihoods. It's a balance between activity and indolence and being static. How to strike that balance depends on what time of day and what time of month. Nobody knew that we'll have a wave 2 that will be as virulent as we are now witnessing. Beyond the games itself, for us, like you said, as an instrument of national unity and sort of engaging our youths, there is the Olympics that we have to prepare for. So the question is, if we are going to participate in the Olympics, how are we going to prepare for the Olympics without Edo 2020? However, can we afford to expose our young athletes, our young people, to the dangers of this pandemic? Will there be other Olympics in years ahead? Should we, because of one Olympics, now not be able to put ourselves in a situation where some people may not be able to participate in other Olympics in the future? I guess these are the things we need to balance. There's no clear answer. I cannot tell you today here that that we have an answer for you. But as we pointed out, as a state, we're subnational. We're not the wealthiest. You can imagine what it has cost us building those facilities, getting ready for the festival, preparing our athletes, preparing to receive Nigeria, the young people of Nigeria. You just imagine what it has cost us. And just about when we had just finished incurring all of that expense, we get hit by COVID, right? Which now calls for another round of spending. And since March last year, the financial state of most states, most subnationals, and the country. So I guess these are all the things we need to balance. For us as a state, we are willing and ready to host, but we do not have the funds at this point in time to host. That is the plain truth. But however, if the federal government in its wisdom decides that we can host and they can bring the funding, we'll be all too willing to host the country. We believe that we have to live with COVID. It has come to stay. Even with vaccinations, the virus will still be around. So canceling or not, canceling activities, stopping, may not be the solution. Because even if you cancelled, does that mean we are not going to undertake sporting activities in this country again? Or we want to wait for the vaccines before we do? Who says with the vaccines, So these are all, issues that I am sure you all have to weigh. Fortunately for me, I'm not in your shoes. I'm not in your shoes. I have my own set of problems I'm dealing with. But our message from Edo is clear. You've seen the facilities, they are available, they are ready. People are willing, our young men and women are training, they're excited. However, there's a risk. And I'm happy that you've come with the full complement of the team, the PTF team, the NCDC team, the epidemiologists. I wish you had signed into our call this morning every day at 9 o'clock. I chair, and the Deputy Governor always calls in, we chair a virtual meeting of the Edo State COVID Committee Response Team. It's something we take very, very seriously. It's daily. It's a daily. We issue reports, we issue statements, and the risk communication team addresses the press every day. If you're around tomorrow morning, you'll be invited to log in and to just, be part of the conversation, the debate, and listen to the statistics, look at our responses. Maybe all of that will help enrich your decision-making process. So on that note, I want to thank you. I want to also especially thank the Ministry of Sports for the support you have been to us. You've made facilities available. Every time we've called the ministry, you've always been there. We know the Honorable Minister of Sports has taken a special interest in Edo. And we want to use this medium to extend our profound gratitude and appreciation to him. And members of the Nigerian Olympic Committee, we've been at this, we've been working very closely. We empathize with you. You have to make a decision whether you want to participate. You want to go to Tokyo, and if you are going to Tokyo, where are the games, where are the trials, how are you going to prepare our team, our squad for the Tokyo Games? So on that note, I want to welcome you again and thank you for coming, and to say whatever decision you arrive at, the Edo State government will go with it. Thank you.